Put it out on. Good evening, folks. Putting it out live.
No, we can put it out live. Not rights for that. Hello, everybody. It's Rich.C. We've got Steve and we've got Gary.
Hey,
and
Gary.
But we'll look at that in a bit. I think I got that right this time. So welcome, everybody. We're going to talk a bit about YouTube tonight. But we do have someone that we pulled from a hat. We should probably tell people a bit about that and remind them what we did from last week. But we're not going to tell you whose name it was until later on, because we're mean like that, aren't we, Steve?
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, he has got it written down.
I had to write it down because I just forget.
Yeah. So, without further ado, let's have a look at what we've been up to with YouTube. Gary, you've done quite a few. Did you know that you've got over 50 on there, 50 videos on there of how to?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God! No, I didn't. Get them off, quick!
Oh, we better remove some then, shall we? Okay.
I had no idea it was 50.
Well, there's well over 50 videos. Not all of them are how to. Some of them we've gone into detail of the spinnies, having a look through throughs as well. But a good portion of them are actually how to stuff. Right. And what we'd like to do today, I think, was Steve, you were talking about shouting out to people for what we want to do next.
Yeah, we were talking about the how-to guides, which were all done off the back of the book, and something that people have asked about and that we'd really like to do was whether we did a sort of a workshop, building, painting, Sarissa kits, MDF kits workshop weekend, and so it'd be something we'd probably do mostly online, but obviously with the current situation, doing things face to face probably isn't as easy as it could be. But yeah, it was just to shout out and see what people thought of doing something like that. Whether it was
that's an actual, not a literally sit down face to face, but a face to face with, say, Gary, on a video conference, how to build stuff, that type of.
Well, based on the book. This is not a pocket copy.
You're a bit drunk. What have you been up to?
Well, it's those colour washes. Full of them. Eventually shrinks.
So it's something we've talked about a lot. So we'd be really keen to do. It's just what sort of things if people think it's a good idea, what would they would they like to see?
Yeah.
And do we do it as we could do general guides, but then as part of it, maybe do some little one-on-one or little two-on-one sessions. So you could get a little session with Gary as a one-on-one as well, part of it, and talk about what you'd like to see done and work on. Having
that one-to-one with someone who actually can guide you through clearly, I think, is a key to a lot of the terrain making, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gary, your first series, Gary, you took us through. Can you take us through some of those that you did? What that was about with the book?
The first series in the book, or the first series of the guides? Because
the actual video YouTube guides, the first series.
Oh man, you're dragging me right back in memory-wise. That's the Victorian House, isn't it? And
stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, that took us through a lot of basic build stuff, really, which is putting colour, any paint onto MDF without worrying about it fighting back and shrinking or warping or just generally misbehaving, which is easy to do.
Turning into a black hole and the universe.
Never does that because you know how to paint it now, thanks to your guys.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good build because it went through wallpaper. It went on using other things from different places. There was doll's house furniture in it. There was some 3D printed chimneys which were used as flower pots and lots of bits and pieces. But there was, it basically was a real little microcosm of the book. It
really did take you through tools, didn't it? Begin with all the way through to those final touches.
Yeah, right the way through to the final bit, and about using photographs to get an idea of what real brick looks like. But you're not trying to copy it; you're just getting a feel for real brick. And stuff like that. And it had the print in it, as you say, tools. using any old paint, which
And apart from busting a lot of myths, particularly with the warping and the sucking up of paint and all that, you actually made sure it was really clear and quick. That it was really easy to follow, wasn't it?
I hope so. That's the whole aim of the book itself, and these videos and the subsequent ones, is all about how simple it is. And I think when we did Patmacon, because I did the Old West build as well, using emulsion and other paints to put on it, and just showing very quickly how to do planked timber effect using I call them crayons, but I get told off for it. Pencils and paint pens, which are water-based ones that you can then feather out with a bit of brush. Yeah, perfect. That sort of stuff. It's really simple to do, and it just helped do it. So everything that we've been doing is about simple builds. They're it should not be, your hobby should not be work, is what I'm thinking, really.
It should be a bit fun. Fun, as well. Because there's a whole slew of techniques that just you'd never think of until someone goes, "Oh, look how easy this is."
Yeah. And a lot of the stuff as well, the idea with a lot of it is that you don't need to do it all of it at once. You can do the basic bit, and then you can keep going back to it and just add a little bit more detail and weathering and things. So you can get it on the table as quick as you want, and then come back to it. And it can be a bit of a project that as your skills develop or as you try new things, you can sort of have a go on little bits and pieces, and then once you've got the feel for that, you could go back to a building you've already got and
which is kind
touch it up.
You did in the second series, Gary, wasn't it? Because it was one building, but in three different.
Is that the Norway, but the
Normandy
buildings.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about it, is that the whole aim of everything that we've done is to say that it's your level, it's your style and your aesthetic. These are just techniques, and there isn't really a right or wrong way of doing it, except you, because it's whether you accept your result.
Yeah.
And actually don't compare your result to somebody else, because like it says in the book, I had 6 years arts training and 30 years of actually practicing it. and up until when computers started coming in late 90s and thousands, everything I did was by hand.
Yeah.
So it's all painting and marker pens and printing and ripping paper and trying to get what you want without actually using a computer.
Yeah, and some of us have had a chance to do the similar thing with hands-on through their time in shops and with various companies and building terrain boards. So it comes together quite easy for some, but some others, you've got to look at it and just be inspired, hopefully, to have a go yourself, and your results are going to be spot on equally as good.
I think the thing is with it, I don't think there's anything that we've shown that's not achievable by anyone. To a good standard. I don't think we don't show anything where there's any mystic magical art. It's and with a lot of it, if it doesn't quite work the first time, you can just paint over the top of it.
But it's like all parents and things will say to a child, "I'll never be able to do this, I can't do it." And it's like, but I've been doing it since your age. How old am I? It's taken me years to get here. It's perseverance, practice, fun, and if you find a technique that you love using, use it. Nail it down and really ram it home.
Well, I mean, is there not somebody's discovered that they really like using marker pens recently, have they?
Oh yeah, I love that idea.
There are reasons for that, of which I can't show anything, but there are reasons for it, and that's basically because I've been using a lot of cardboard.
And then that's partly what we're talking about, isn't it, Steve, with the potential face-to-face sort of small group training session, if you like, personal personalized day where somebody could come along and learn specific techniques with a small group, with Gary, myself, just playing about with terrain and making a mess and seeing what we come out with at the end. But more really, learning that, getting that years of experience out of view in one go.
Well, I think it's also giving people, I want to give people the confidence to go into an art shop and go, that looks interesting. It's £2.50. I'll have a go.
Bit of chalk.
Yeah, whether it's chalk to make weathering powders or even artist oils for people use those for horses, but they're for other things. Or
the stuff of the stuff for making water and waves.
Yeah, all the different versions of those are there, and all the textures and everything else. You know, going into lots of different places. We drove past some the other day, and Carol said, "Do you want to pop in there because you wanted the spray paint?" Now it was a car repair shop, and they'll mix up color, paint, and we all know this, but it's having been with me. Carol's got the confidence to go, "Oh, let's just go in there then. Let's buy some paint."
We know we need that shade of grey
exactly.
Quicker.
You know, and it's also looking at the model railway paints, and you know, there's theatre. There's some really good books out there about how theatre designers work, because they still work in paper and card.
Yeah,
create an environment, but it's not making a backdrop, which is where we've never tried to have a backdrop to your game. It's sort of actually intrinsic to the game with the buildings. You go inside them, they give the feeling of the real game. And these theatre books are all about creating small environments for them. A lot of interior designers used to do it by in models. Now it's all computerized, but well, not all, says he. But yeah.
But that's where Adam's just come on and said he's a paper convert. Fantastic.
Yes.
Very much. That's what we're trying to put across. I think in those last few videos showcased, it was definitely how to utilize the paper to bring out the best in a model.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's something to the right of me which has got a lot of those paper techniques in there, but I'm also utilizing paint and just lots of different materials, because they all come together. Once you start using different techniques, you start using where they're appropriate, and you feel comfortable with them, and just use them.
Now you've got a board next to you there on our circular track.
Oh right, yes.
Yeah. In the picture here, it's a train about to do a loop, and I think Jamie Howard, he just shouted out, wouldn't mind getting a small mini course on like the step-by-step of theming and building that sort of size small board.
Okay.
He's got a few other list of things there, like doing it for ancient Greece and how not to overload it, but also not undercover it. You know, sort of getting that balance.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the comment actually so I could read it, because I'm trying to read some and they're jumping. There's lots of the thing with it is I do a lot of research in terms of just looking at pictures. I'm a visual person. You know, people say you don't read books, so how the hell did you get an MA? It's like, well, don't ask. I read a lot of books and I gave up after a while. But it's having a look at photographs, pictures, museums, getting a feel for things, and then researching what's available. You know, I finding different grasses, canvases, paper, and then just piecing it together. Almost create a mood board. It's funny how Rich was talking about table boards. A mood board is just get your paints, your bits and pieces you want to get a feel for together. Create that.
And I think with the layouts, with some of the bundles and things we've done it in 3D. But I mean, you could quite easily just draw the shape of the kit, you know, where roughly, and set them on, you know, or just cut out a piece of paper, roughly the footprint, and set it down and see what the space is like and see how it feels. Does it feel cluttered? Do they need to be closer together, or does it just need a bit of scatter between two larger objects?
And military diorama builders have got a whole slew of sort of topics and tips that, again, like the interior designers would have, they've been there and done that over years. We could certainly grab ideas from them and do a video on how to build that type of board that has almost like a diorama.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about doing some cool big full table deals, weren't we? So maybe we can do something when we do those.
Yeah. I think I should answer Alex's point about the book.
I think that's a very good question, actually, from Alex.
It was not one. I didn't wing it. I've many a speech in my life.
The question is, how did or do you decide what goes into the book? This is from Alex. And what needs a video? How do you plan it?
The book was planned from literally start to finish as kits. We had a lot of kits that we were designing ranges and kits at the time, and it was picking the most simple kit to how you go to it, literally where it ends with the New York scene. It was how to build a plot. And that's why.
I was just going to say that. I think if for those that have read it, got the book, there is a story through it. It does follow a sort of. It does follow a story.
There's a particular set of characters, aren't there?
I mean, we talked about it. We talked about doing a book, which was going to just be quite a small, smallish guide, and ended up being something much bigger. But I mean, it was. We talked about it for what a year, was it? And then you, I think you probably were a good month, 6 weeks, in just sketching, rough planning what was going to be in it. But
this building, you kind of started with one set of buildings, didn't you? But then it quickly changed to a different set so that you could get the techniques.
It was literally a case of picking buildings that had features that allowed you to feature a technique, but without ditching the previous techniques that were demonstrated. So they didn't building on each one. What they didn't do is say, "Oh, now you've learned that, bin that, start with this." Or I grew up in an era where you did it the right way, and there were modelling books saying that you had to do it this way, and you'd learn something, and then they go, "Now you've learned that. Now I'm going to make it better," and you stopped.
Game, didn't you, with something else?
So this was all about making people comfortable with each technique, but they could build upon it and build and use more techniques each time it progressed. And the last build uses dry brushing that was mentioned in the first chapter. It has stuff to do with spray paint. It has different things to do with printing posters and printing things.
It transfers the things,
So it certainly wasn't winged. It was definitely planned.
It's certainly not wung.
Excellent. So what we're getting at, I think, overall today, guys, is we want all our customers that are watching this or are watching it over the next few weeks to make sure they add a comment about what sort of video guide they'd like to see, because we're getting some great ideas here, and we know that we've got a couple of those already in.
We've had some questions about kit specific guides, haven't we, as well? Whether that's whether that is a build guide and painting guide for a specific kit. I think some people are quite interested in certain kits and how that result was achieved. So
I mean, there's a couple of guides we do already, which are some of the free ones, which go through.
They're the
quite close. Because I do know that some people want to replicate a result. And the book was and a lot of the video guides are more about not so much this how you.
They're more techniques. Guides than. But
here's a technique that we use. Go and try it by following these steps.
Whereas some of the free guides we've got, we actually tell you what all the colours and exactly what brands of paint, what colours, etc.
Those are the PDFs that we've got, aren't they?
Yeah.
Part of the blog posts and PDF as well.
We'll drop a link in for them, but there's a page full of free stuff.
A few more of those to come as well. So that's good.
and they're all written. They're all really easy to follow.
Generally,
Written by idiots for idiots. Eh?
I think when you take it, is that it's interesting because the railway board we've got there, which I've got a piece here. When we did the Japanese village with the terrain tiles, people kept coming up and they were wanting to know how I created the sand texture. And it was interesting. This is no criticism, so don't take it any wrong way. People were wanting to tell me how it was done. And then they realized, you're the man that did it. Yeah. It was like, and then they found out that it was just cheap textured spray paint.
Yeah.
And a little bit of dry brushing to get the different levels, or an ink wash. Using acrylic artist paint thinned down, £1.50 from a little hobby shop, a craft shop. And then it was like, right, so I don't have to do anything complicated, because so much people were talking about how complicated things have to be, or how much process they have to achieve.
Texture sprays are just awesome.
Yeah.
And you can build, the thing is, if you spray it, and then you can build it up as well, so you can go a bit heavier in an area or lighter. So you can get all the same effects you can get with PVA and sand or whatever.
But it was the same when I don't know who was asked about getting crackle finishes, and it's basically to do with water tension and paint drying and surface. But of course, that's where artists and other people have been cheated with different kinds of stuff you paint on for ages, and it's just a case of asking made me go back into my memory to go find what I've used before, and then just demonstrate that it doesn't have to be, as the man above me says, toy soldier taxed product.
So I think with the railway there is a bit of a tease as to what's coming soon. So I think that's definitely one we'll be looking at for a guide. But of course, we want people to consider what we're asking about. Do they want a face-to-face opportunity? Say that via, say, Zoom or something along those lines, to have a weekend perhaps, or a single day's event where we can organise that. How would they see that happening? Would Zoom work? Would the face-to-face thing, and how do they see it as coming together for them the best way?
Yeah, that's it. Do we do lots of little mini sessions for small groups, or do we do some big sessions where lots of people can see a demonstration on something, and then we split it all up again afterwards? So give it some thought. And if you've got any
weekend courses, what other YouTube guides can we do for you guys? Now, Steve, I think we should probably move on, Steve, because we've run on quite a long time tonight.
Yeah, well,
because we've got something perhaps coming up about a move.
Yeah, well, we're moving, which we've talked about a couple of times. So we're moving, and we've got some cool projects that we've got to work on once we've got some space. So we're gonna be putting a little shout out for some opportunities and things we might have coming up, and see if anyone wants to join the team. That might be some flexibility there if people that maybe just for some little bit of part-time stuff or some full-time stuff. But so we're going to put some information on that up, so keep your eyes out for that.
Fantastic. And I guess we should probably, as we're nearing the end, say
who's the winner is.
Who's got the dog already?
The winner of last week's prize,
which was to comment on the bottom of one of our,
which was and you get to choose one of the kits or kit something from the video we showed last week, is Mr. Stephen Dennis.
Woohoo!
So so we'll give him a shout and contact him, and we'll see what his selection is going to be.
Excellent. We'll let everybody know.
So congratulations.
Yes, and can't they choose?
Yeah. So sorry.
Can't choose Ruby or Noah.
No, you can't. You can't have the dog. and
We'll
it's
see
hot,
how AJ's feeling.
and then hot on the heels of that, next week is our 10th birthday show as well. So
Wow.
Sarissa will be 10 years old. So next week we'll have a bit of a party.
So, party time, and well, 10 things in 10 days for our 10th birthday of Sarissa. Yes?
There might be something like that, yeah.
Hey, cool. We'll look forward to seeing, and you're going to have to be here to find out all about it, I guess. So, if you've got ideas or anything else and you want to contact us, we do have new sort of contact details just by using inquiries at sarissaprecision.co.uk. And that should come through to us, and we'll make sure we get back and answer you. But in the meantime, I think it's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much, Gary.
Yeah. Pleasure.
Hot tips, and yes, Alex and Jamie, we'll get onto those and we'll see what we can put together.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Take care. Stay safe.
Cheers. Bye.
See you next week. Bye.